Continuing our talk with John Hazel here, science teacher at Durant High School for 34 years and Oklahoma's 2017 Teacher of the Year. We had a couple people chime in with questions, so I want to get straight to those. First one is from Casey. Did he ever consider making the move to Texas since they pay so much better there? He lives about 50 minutes from Texas, so it would be an easy transition.
I never even thought about it. Oklahoma's my home. I really honestly love this state. And I'm kind of old school, and again, I'm not saying this against anybody else, because if you're not careful, people think, but I'm not. But I was just raised that when there's an issue or problem, you figure it out, you solve it, you fight till you get it taken care of. And I'm just not going. I'm not going to leave my wife. Like I said, it is 15 minutes, and she and I have never even considered it. We love this state, and we love our kids, and we love our hometown. And you know, unless something happens that I don't know about, we're there. You know, the Lord might move us, or He might do something, but we're not going to go somewhere else just because they pay more money.
Yeah, your roots are there, and I think I hear a big sigh of relief from a lot of students and parents back home for you in Durant. This one came in from Gary. Will consolidation help? More money for teachers, less for duplication of administrations, way too many school districts with tons of duplications. Do you think that's a solution?
You know, that's the age-old question. Everybody, you know, says that it will. I've done some research. Texas has 1,227 school districts as compared to Oklahoma's 517. And so they seem to be able to do okay on their funding. So I'm not sure that's the answer, because here's the thing that you don't hear a lot of times in this equation. My father was an educator at Southeastern Oklahoma State University for 35 years, and at the end of his career, he was in charge for all the student teachers traveling and doing mentoring in the southeastern part of the state, where a lot of your smaller schools are. And one of the things that you have to think about is a lot of these towns and communities, if they lose their school, they lose their town.
Yes.
It's going to disappear.
Yep.
They're not going to be there any longer. And I understand the duplicity. I understand some of them have really small class sizes. I understand people talk about the extra money spent for administration. But at the same time, if we consolidate and bring all these kids together, we're going to have to be building all new schools and new buildings and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not sure, if you look at Kansas, Kansas has started consolidation many years ago. They have about as many financial problems as we do. If somebody wants to do the research, they'll find out that they're struggling. So I'm not just saying, oh no, we can't do that, that's not an answer. It may need to happen sometimes.
Right.
But I don't know about taking away the life of a community.
That's the way to go. I was talking to my Aunt Paula, who's been a longtime teacher in Ada. You know her as well.
Yes.
And we were talking, I just called her one day, I asked her about consolidation. She said, you know, to people who aren't in education and aren't living that day to day, that seems like an easy fix, but there's such a domino effect when it comes to consolidation that a lot of people just don't think about. Last question to you before we toss a break. For teachers right now listening to this at home thinking, wow, you know, how do I stay? Why should I stay? Or for parents who are concerned about their kids making it through the system right now, what's your main message to them?
Here's the message that I've been sharing with teachers. We live in a society that tells you that if you can get a nicer car, a nicer house, better clothes, you're going to be happy. That's going to make your life fulfilled. And people do that and they find out it's not. And Jesus taught us a long time ago that what fills our heart is investing into other people's lives. And a teacher is afforded the opportunity to have the fullest heart of anybody on this earth, because they invest in children's lives. That in turn invests in families' lives. And they get to see that coming back year after year after year in the difference that they made in the heart of a child and in the family. There is nothing that can pay for the fullness that's in a teacher's heart when they see the investment that they made into these people's lives has made a difference in them forever. And I tell them, listen guys, don't lose your focus. It's okay to fight for the resources, the money, but don't let that be your focus. Remember those children and the impact you're having in their life, and your heart will be full no matter what your paycheck is.
Oh, I'm getting emotional up here. John Hazel, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
And a pleasure to hear what your vision is
Thank you.
for our future here.
Thank
we
you.
wish you the very best. And again, congrats on the title.
Thank you very much.